Anything that's different has the ability to stand out, to shock us.
I kind of realised that it was different to other people.
Most people would call you nicknames.
Was it Auburn? Was it Titian?
Red, orange, chestnut, auburn.
And I used to live in Paris, and I was told that that prostitutes dyed their hair red so that they could be seen as more sexy.
I grew up believing that I was really ugly and that there was something wrong with me. And so from the age of 16 to about 26, I dyed my hair brown because I believed that that was a really negative thing.
I think everybody gets teased when they're growing up if there's something distinctive about them. I'm very tall, so you get very tall and red-haired, and I used to be called Matchstick and various things like that, which I thought was quite clever.
Embrace your uniqueness, and I know it's really, really hard when you're growing up, but just hold on to it and don't let anybody make you feel bad for having something so beautiful.
The Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood was a secret society of artists who formed in the 1840s here in England by three students, William Holman Hunt, John Everett Millais and Dante Gabriel Rossetti. And so the guys that formed the Pre-Raphaelite movement, as the name suggests, were influenced by what came before Raphael. So as well as being inspired by medieval art, they were also very inspired by poets like Wordsworth and Keats and Tennyson, and also the nature writer John Ruskin, who kind of famously said, "All beauty can be found in nature." One of the obsessions was this Victorian idea that women are kind of getting a bit too much independence and they're discovering their own sexuality, and as a result of this, they kind of end up drug addicts, drunk, lying in a gutter somewhere. And the Pre-Raphaelites were obsessed with kind of portraying this, because even though they were doing quite contemporary work, they were very religious men and they really believed in morality and values and how women should be. Until the 20th century, women were expected to grow their hair very, very long, and that was kind of a symbol of your femininity, your suitability, your appropriateness as a wife and mother. But no one would be allowed to see your hair down and loose. That's a very intimate thing. Only whoever's sharing a bedroom with you, maybe a maid, maybe a very close family member, they're the only people that are seeing your hair worn loose and down. So the fact that the Pre-Raphaelites paint women with their hair like this, it tells us a lot about how they're seeing them. These women are kind of dangerous. There's a sensuality to them. The typical Victorian ideal of beauty at the time would be mousy brown hair worn in a bun. That was kind of the vision of beauty. So these women are about as far removed from that as is possible to get, and that tells us a lot about how the Pre-Raphaelites see them. Red hair is a device that's used in art to symbolise someone as being different or other, generally kind of evil or bad. It's the colour that's used for witches, vampires, sex workers, seductresses. That's kind of it for redheads. I think attitudes towards redheads are definitely influenced by kind of the stories we've been told through art. Hair tells us so much about what's happening in society at the time, particularly women's hair, and the fact that, how it was worn was dictated by men for most of history. So these women are really important to it. We're just so obsessed with the male artists that we forget the women that actually influenced them in the first place.
Can you play some reggaeton? Or they don't listen?
Often when I go to a barber, the barber will mention the colour of the hair, the thickness as well. I remember I get that a lot. Yeah.
Or they don't listen?
Growing up with red hair, I can remember some instances where people made fun. People have called me Ronald Weasley. I think I had a baked bean head at school. I've heard stereotypes like being soulless and angry. So I remember there's one funny story. I was in Vietnam. This lady came up, she had a baby, and it happened before where Vietnamese people had asked me to take selfies with them, but she gave me her baby to hold, taking a picture, and the baby just started crying. It wasn't having it. That wasn't such a fun time. But it was I think that was my funniest memory of being a ginger.
I think the first time time I kind of realised that it was, different to other people would probably be when I was 7. I remember other parents complimenting me on my hair and trying to figure out what the name was. It Ginger? Was it Auburn? Was it Titian? Red? Kids tease you for it, which I can laugh about it now. Maybe I didn't laugh about it when I was young. There would be this sort of stereotype jokes. You're ginger, you have no soul, or random things like gingers bite people or stuff, like really random. After so many years, it did start to affect me. I started sort of begging my mum, like, please can I buy brown hair dye? And then actually when I was 14, 15, so a little bit older and a bit more independent, I went to proper hairdressers and I decided, I wanted to go blonde, but I still wasn't happy. So then I dyed it a different colour, then I dyed it brown again, and then that just didn't look right. So then I dyed it dark, like black hair almost, which ruined my hair. I want to say 18, did I have my full head of hair natural again, grown out.
After coming back from Vietnam, I moved to an agricultural college in rural Devon, and I lived there. One of the people on my floor said, why didn't you dye your hair before coming to college? It would have been a fresh start. No one would then know that you were a ginger. I think it said something like, why would it really matter? But then they went, well, you're in Devon. people will make fun of it. I think I was just after coming back from Vietnam as well, so I kind of forgotten a bit about, how it was like. And they were right on the first day of lessons, as I said, people did make fun, so, yeah.
The relationship with my hair changing over the years has been a roller coaster. Loving it, hating it, loving it, Now I get to embrace it, and I'm constantly getting complimented on it, which is a really nice thing to experience, people complimenting it. One of the reasons I was in modelling, even as a child, was because of my unique shade and texture of hair as well. There aren't that many models, and there aren't that many redhead models in London anyway. So if someone wants a redhead, there's quite a high chance that I will get it, especially with the texture. Hairstylists for shoots, they love the texture because it's quite coarse, so whatever style they want, it holds well. Being more vibrant and standing out, it's like it will easily catch your eye. So I guess that kind of helps with the social media, maybe. If my hair is redder in one picture, I might get more likes than in a picture where my hair looks a bit dull.
So some of the key differences I noticed about being a redhead after moving to Vietnam, people didn't make fun of it, they thought it was cool. I remember my mum telling me sometimes people would be pointing at me. I've had people want to take pictures with me. I remember my mum was telling me that when she was pregnant with me, somebody said to her, oh, maybe your child will have red hair because of her dad. And she said, oh, God, I hope not. Then I had red hair.
My hair has influenced my identity, I'd say probably from the heritage. Like my ancestors are from Scotland and I have Viking ancestors. I like to think that I'm related to Boadicea, these sort of famous Viking strong women. So there's a kind of connotation around having like a very strong personality.
I think now I'm older, I'm quite proud of my hair colour really. It's something a little bit different and special.
My favourite thing about having red hair is the vibrancy of it. I like to think of myself as having quite a vibrant character, so it kind of matches with my personality.
Red has become definitely a part of my personality. It's something that I'm known for, I guess, amongst my friends and amongst people who know me. I love that it's a really vibrant colour. It's funny, I don't really like being the centre of attention. I don't really like people looking at me, but I do really love having this bright red hair. I think it kind of gives me a pass to make no effort with anything else because the hair kind of makes a statement by itself.
To all of the younger girls out there with red hair, don't dye it. You just have to embrace it, because when you're older you'll realise how precious it is, and don't feel ashamed for having red hair.